Hello and herzlich willkommen zum Auf die Fresse, the WXW preview podcast in English. Yep, I mean, he's Mike, and we're just over a week away from the return of World Tag Team Festival. Mike, how's it going?
All good. It's all good. I say it's my favourite weekender of the year. So I'm very, very excited for it.
It's the first time since 2019 we're getting the tag team tournament back. And we did Catch Grand Prix in 2020. That was in front of a studio audience. Last year's Catch Grand Prix ended up being, I don't know. Do you want to? I think Shitzel maybe a bit harsh, but I don't know. It was meant to be the round robin thing when it became a one night tournament, which was absolutely not what they were looking for. I think they said at the time, but they've decided not to go with that. We get the tag teams back, and yeah, in what week on Saturday we're going to be for Turbine Hall 2 in Oberhausen, and a lot of tag matches.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I say just to go back onto the Catch Grand Prix. I mean, neither. I think when Catch Grand Prix was first announced, I was like buzzing for it because it was going to be 5 days. But then I think neither tournament ended up being what they intended it to be. Because Catch Grand Prix ended up being the first one ended up being behind closed doors over the course of a month and a half, and I don't know how many people were watching it, to be completely honest. Because I'll be honest, I was only watching the bits I was told to, and then the last one was it was all squeezed into one day. So I think the World Tag Team Fest, I think it's a crowd pleaser. A lot of people prefer that, like that format, and yeah, it's good to have that back. But yeah, back to Turbine Hall 2, the best venue in Oberhausen.
I mean, we'll go through the lineups and what we know so far, but I guess we're going to start with the first show of the weekend. That's this coming week on Friday, September 30th. Our first trip to Alma Park in Gelsenkirchen for the first inner circle of the new academy. And yeah, as we record, just one match, but yeah, it's going the other way, Mike. We're not going to Kaltenberg. It's Gelsenkirchen and much nicer new facility.
Yeah, it's obviously it's the new venue. We've already spoken about the We Love Wrestling tapings that they've done there before. It's completely different. So yeah, if I do wonder if anybody is going to end up going to the wrong place, and we're just going to hear about it in the following day or something like that. But yeah, somewhere completely different in a slightly bigger, not say a bigger town, but a bigger catchment area. I mean, it's right, just a 10-minute walk or so from the Gelsenkirchen train station, so it's a lot easier to get to. Whereas comparison when it was at Essen, Kaltenberg or Essen Zollverein, it was one train an hour, which was not which was not fun when you're kicking out at 10 to 10 and you have to run for the train, which we never got. So yeah,
There's not one ticket machine coming back at least.
Well, yeah, well, I've now got I've got the DB Navigator app, which means that, I'm always got my ticket before I even stepped on the platform. So, yeah, I'm not so worried now.
Well, I hope my phone's not going to act up like it did at Carrot, but yeah, it's the UK. You're not having to pay those, conversion fees, linked to PayPal, and dead handy, especially when you're coming in from the airports. But just one match announced for the Inner Circle 12 so far. No doubt within an hour of us hitting stop will be a load more announced. But Masha Slamovic and Fuminori Abe. And that is it's definitely a match. And I think it's one a lot of people can have a lot of expectations of it being very, I don't know if the term's being bastardized, strong style. But there's going to be a lot of lumps being knocked out of both from here.
Yeah, for sure, and I think it leans into the whole Inner Circle has always been a sort of and I mean this. I don't mean this in a bad way. In a bit of a broken biscuit show. It's like little bits and pieces, matches which you wouldn't necessarily normally get, or they're sort of warm up matches for the warm up matches for the weekenders. You want something a bit mad like this to sort of grab your attention. I mean, there's always something which is like, whoa, what's that? um, but I always do like about Inner Circles that they don't tend to announce very much. They announce maybe one or two matches, but that's it. You want There is an element of a sort of a loot box sort of semi show with it, and it's always good fun when you have those. So
So see if anything more does
I
get
think
announced.
this one will be yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like say, I think Inner Circles. I mean, they've been, especially in Essen, a lot of memories there. I think was it Tag Festival last time where the lights went out for Timo.
Yes, Tagfest 19. The lights went out on that one. It was it was one of the. I actually missed all the lights going out at first because I got as happens pretty much every time I went to Essen, I got locked in the toilets. So,
Well, you set loose, you'd get lost in this time, Mike.
well, hopefully not. Maybe they've just give us new ones to get out of. But yeah, yeah, I think that was the last one with and also was it the Undertaker arrived on that show?
I vaguely remember, yeah, of course, all edged off the on
Yeah,
demands, but yeah, it's so new home, new memories, and yeah, hopefully, be a few more matches announced. I know there are still tickets left, so if you're coming over, the Friday night this time instead of a Thursday, 6:30 door, 7 o'clock bell, get yourself over there, and I think they're saying if you've bought the weekend packages, like tournament or the festival stuff, we're trying to get you to exchange or get your wristband there in Gelsenkirchen, so you can walk in pretty much
get
for
it
the first
early.
show,
Yeah.
which worked well for Carrots. So can see why we're keeping it, and hope it's something we keep as long as we can for these shows.
Yeah, it's always easier to sort of get all that thing, and I say it's a good way to just get eased into the weekend. You're not your first thing isn't straight into a big show. It's something. It's like a little appetizer, something to sort of whet your appetite. If you've never been before, it's sort of your first chance to sort of see how um, German crowds work because they are certainly different. Um, so yeah, it's definitely worth going to if you haven't already got tickets for it, and if you're kind of coming in on Friday and you didn't realise it was on, go to Gelsenkirchen.
So heading back to Oberhausen, the first show of the weekend isn't a tag festival show. We're kicking off with Fembertal. So that is, let me get the time right. So that's 2:30 doors, 3:30 bell. And
Yeah,
this is one where it's the one show women's tournament. You've got the women's title match, Calypso against returning Amal and the defending Baby Alice in a freeway. Um, I don't know if you want to go through the quarterfinals that have been announced, but we've got Eva Kolaski and returning Killer Kelly, who I know I'd said that or she'd been favoured, but I think add Killer Kelly to the mix.
yeah,
I think she's going to be running pretty close to that final.
yeah. You'd think so. I think you'd certainly think so, and also she is she will be booked elsewhere on the weekend. She's on the We Love Wrestling show as well. So you do wonder whether Kelly, I think, has got to be one of the sort of main contenders, especially as like this is home ground for her. Really, she's Portugal, but I think this is WXW's home ground for her. So I think she's got to be in my favourites for this tournament.
Of course, first round, she's up against Eva Kolaski. Not had too much of a winning run lately. She lost the women's championship over was after Cloud wasn't in Frankfurt. There's
Yeah,
been a few unsuccessful title shots since, but who knows? And been unlikely when you'd have to say, given that first round opponent, but we'll certainly put it back in the
hell of
ring.
a spoiler though. Hell of
True.
a spoiler if it is the person who does win. So with that, maybe you could see that, but I don't know. I say it's a kind of given up trying to make too many predictions about WXW tournaments because there's always something that comes in sort of from left field.
Next quarterfinal, we've got Alice Inc. making her debut. She's a regular for Body Slam in Denmark.
Yeah,
Done a few bits and pieces around Europe. I think it's Wrestle Island. She's done a few shots for. Was mentioned wrestled at the
she was in the showcase,
Down
wasn't she? She was
showcase
meant to be.
thing.
Yeah,
Oh God, who was it? Carl Samora, I think was the sub. remember
Yeah,
correctly. So this will be a debut for WXW on a full WXW show. She's up against Nikki Foxley, who's done a few of the Academy tapings, not Academy, the MT Arena tapings. She's had a few similarly unsuccessful title shots against both Baby Allison and Eva Klasky. I'd have to put it down to rank outside of this, but again,
yeah,
quarterfinals, is kind of a pick 'em.
yeah, for sure. I think Alice Inc. is the people that I know who watch it more than I do. Um, Alice Inc. is one that obviously is quite popular amongst sort of the Scandi people. Um, so yeah, I think she's going to be a. I think she would probably progress from this match at least. Foxley's not really. I can't think of her ever being on a WXW event really. I can't remember her. I know she's been on lots of cards, but not necessarily ones that have been televised.
I think she did a few of the Steffi tapings, but I think since
Yeah,
cards came back, I know she did the Over Traveling one, which we were wondering was that going to be released, and I think also the first Wheel of Wrestling wasn't released. So,
yeah,
first time for a lot of people, I'd guess, in open house and seeing her. Next up, we've got another debut, Anastasia Bardot from France. So, let me just find the notes I've scribbled down here, and of course, I haven't written any down. But she's no, she's paid for APC in France, Rings of Europe in Austria, and of course Portugal CTW. Haven't seen that much of her, I'll be honest, but she's up against Orshi, and
yeah.
again, no, you're talking about spoilers. This is would be a pretty big upset if Orshi does go out in the first round.
I'd be shocked if all she went out to, and I mean this. I mean no malice here. A complete unknown. Anastasia Bardot. I couldn't tell you the first thing about her really. So she's a niche name for me anyway. So yeah, it would be a huge shock if Orshi went out to this person. But I personally think Orshi has to go to the final, if not win it. Really.
And then the last quarterfinal, we've got Ava Everett. She's back for another run in WXW against returning Masha Slamovich.
Yeah.
And I'd say if you didn't have the Killer Kelly return, that to me would have been the pick for first round matches.
Well, Ava Masha.
Yeah.
I think it probably still is. I think it's probably the best wrestling match in the first round. I think. I think the excitement comes in the next round when Kelly's mixing up with everybody else. Sort of the people who have progressed. So, but it's that the Ava because Ava Everett and Masha have they've wrestled a lot in the states before, haven't they?
Let me do a quick cage match. I know they've been in the same kind of promotions, but I don't
Yeah,
know if their paths have crossed that much. So while I buy time, so looking at my notes, and I had Michelle Green down on the line, but I know she did that was it the quiz schlag thing.
yes.
But
Is she not in it anymore?
I'm looking at the lineup. So Bardot, Orshi, Klasky, Kelly, Alisink, Nikki Foxley, Masha, Ava. I don't know if she's like an alternate, not, but no, her name ain't on the lineup anymore. As far as the Ava Everett Masha Slamovich thing, they've had two matches, both in America before.
Yeah.
Most recently, last August for Limitless, with Masha winning, and
Okay.
then October 2019, she won a handicap match against Ava and her then tag team partner Angel Sinclair. So not too many interactions, but again running in similar circles. So yeah, at least for the flying aspect, that's going to be probably the most interesting one, at least for not two flyings who are more familiar from the states.
Yeah, for sure.
And of course, the title match returning Amal up against Calypso, who's won non-title match, won by count out against Baby Allison. Do you see a title change here?
Um, I think you could get a title change here. Amal's around for a bit, isn't she? She's around at least until the new year. So it would be sort of make sense storyline wise for Amal to immediately sort of steamroll into the title. Likewise, to be honest, it would make sense for Calypso to win because she's had 2 wins over Ellison. So um, yeah, I think it's definitely. I do think at this point an Allison retain is an outside bet, really, for me personally. Um, I think Calypso being in there is possibly the easy way to get Amal to win, because maybe you don't pin Allison, but equally, I don't know, I could see Calypso doing it as well. I couldn't really call this one. My head says Amal though wins.
Because you've got to think as well, Amal never lost the title. She had it
Yeah,
actually
exactly.
vacated. So, and WWE have been doing that whole thing of how many days run, how many defenses. So, if I won, it's a real gimme. Any of those wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. And of course, you've got the winner of Femme Fatale, you've got the semis and the final on this show. They're also in line for title shot too. So, whoever wins that one could be in for a very busy weekend.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, as I say, you could have. I think there's a very good chance you could have. The title could change hands twice over the weekend. To be honest, I think it's that sort of that sort of weekend,
Like a
really.
shock and a carrot, eh?
Yeah, for sure.
But then move on to the opening night of Tag Festival. So it's 6:30 door, 7:30 bell. We've got a couple of non-tournament matches. So Mike Bailey and Bobby Guns, I guess an de facto number one contenders match when it takes on Tristan Archer on the Sunday. And we've got a street
Rematch
fight.
from Carrot 18.
Yep, and I still have nightmares of Speedball's fingers and thumbs being bent
Oh
back
yeah,
by Bobby Guns. Then we've got a street fight, Jörn Sims against Heisenberg. That's playing off, was a dead end. With it, they've obviously had the fight before, and then after the end, that sparks again. Hope it goes better than the one at not Extreme Rules. What's the WXW one? Is that Draw Blank?
Oh,
Open Rules.
Broken Rules, yeah.
Yes, hopefully it's a little bit better because I don't think neither of us were that struck on their match there. But at least this one, it's a street fight. It doesn't feel like it's been shoehorned in. So who
Yeah.
knows this one?
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
the opening night of Tag Festival. So just run down the matches, and if you want to pick out the end. Block A, we've got Sanity's Eric Young and Axel Tischer against the Calamari Drunken Kings of Masa Takanashi and Chris Brooks. Block A's also got the Pretty Bastards, that's Ahura and Maggot against Sense of Ultra and Iglo Blanc. I will never say the name they've given them. I'm sorry, that to me is just
The
wrong.
French Adores. It's
You said it,
terrible.
not me. Block B kicks off with Ambos's Robert Dreisker and Icarus against Shikahiro Irie and Fuminori Abe. Only team in this tournament not being given a tag name, which I'm reading way too much into that. And also,
Yeah, I don't think there's anything to. Yeah.
I guess you couldn't say the astronauts because I know everyone was hoping for Abe and Nomura coming over, but
Yeah,
maybe
that would have
next
been
time.
nice.
And then Violence is Forever, that's Kevin Koo, John Guarini against Rotten Flot, Mikhail Schenkenberg, and Nikita Charisma. Again, opening night, open night results don't really mean that much. If you've seen enough tournament wrestling or especially round robin stuff, nobody's been eliminated here, so anyone can take a loss, anyone can take a win.
Yeah.
Um, could mean more tricky paths, but these things are planned out to deliver exciting crescendos on the Monday night. So pretty decent lineup for first night. I think everyone's got their eyes on Speedball, Bobby Guns. I think the Amboss Irie Abe one for me is my pick for tag matches for absolute for sure.
Yeah, and I think the CDK Sanity match could be quite interesting as well. Um, a little bit, kind of, we don't, obviously we're not making predictions, but one thing I think is quite interesting is the the balance of the blocks. I think is a bit odd, in the sense that um, the domestic face teams, and I'm using inverted commas there, the domestic face and domestic heel teams are both joined together in the same group, which is in the same block. So, for example, you have the Bastards and the French Adores, which I would assume would be the domestic faces
Yeah,
in the same group, and you also have Amboss and Rotten Flot in the same group, which for me, I don't know, feels a bit odd. Um, I don't know if that's odd for you as well, but
it certainly jumps out. I mean, the night two lineups. You've got potential block winners. In one of the matches. Yeah, I mean, again, directly we've not. I don't say we've not been much high on tag teams lately. Obviously, we've had. Ideal being also hungry. We'll probably have tipped us a bit stronger in the Amboss direction.
yeah,
Rotten flop, but yeah, I think in trying not to tip off obvious winners, we've kind of skewed the balance a little bit too far the other way. Make for some interesting matches. I mean, you've got the bad guys trying to, out cheat each other, for one better word. But yeah, again, I suppose it depends how they play it. I think you're not going to get. And here's me giving the absolute death knell here. You're not going to get the comedy, ha ha. No, we're going to no. We cheat. Well, we cheat too. Let's do a finger poke, kind of stuff. But I've seen
Yeah.
quite a few quote babyface tag matches this year, which have died on its arse.
Yes.
And I do wonder if you're going to get not no sound quick, but I do wonder if you're going to get a few matches which are going to struggle because of that. Maybe wrong, but again, I've seen quite a few of those lately in person where it's been just not meshed. But again, it's up to the guys to make it work.
Yeah, of course, exactly. That's exactly the thing, isn't it?
So move on to Sunday. We start the afternoon with a Wheel of Wrestling Live. They're subtitling it Axeman versus Barbo. It's one and only appearance of Metahan over the weekend. Of course, main event
So
Metahan
far.
Fisher. And I think that one was a 16 carat 2019
Yes,
first
an
round match,
angle they
right?
yes, an angle they sort of set up, and I'd completely forgotten about it. But back when Alexander Wolf won the shotgun title at 16 carat 2020, Metihan and the rest of Azel decided to sort of attack them, and then obviously COVID happened. Tisha got sent back to the States, and Metahan then eventually got signed. So it's kind of
Ships passing the night.
yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of bad blood for this. Not sure how much is. I think this could be. I think this is going to be a really good, fun match. It's going to be great to sort of see Lucky back.
Yep.
But beyond that, it's kind of it's a bit of a. Is the heat still there? I don't know. I had to be reminded of it.
I mean, if we see Abdul touch kicking around, we know we're just picking up where they left off pre-COVID. But
Yeah, I mean,
maybe,
I suppose you could have Metahan doing a bit of shenanigans on sort of Saturday night, maybe. Um, so I think there's potential for a bit of that around the thing. Maybe keep the heat going, but I think the thing is this show didn't need stacking because people who were going to the weekend or anyway would have gone for this. But it's it's an extra sort of cherry on the top of the weekend. Like it doesn't say this show this show didn't need this match in my opinion. This could have
if you
quite
look
a
at the lineups,
sorry.
if you look for lineups, Mike, it's the only match on this entire weekend which is XWWE against XWWE. And what we spoke about was the last episode of
Yeah,
the
but
mass
then
releases.
it's not
Yeah, yeah.
WWE. It's NXT UK, which nobody watched. So
Well,
if it was Eric Young versus Eric Young versus Tim
Axel
Thatcher
Tischer,
or
yeah,
something
but
like that,
completely
then
screwed
oh
the
yeah,
tag team
maybe.
this weekend for them. But yeah, I mean, again, it's like say,
Do you know
we're
what I
not.
mean?
It's a big match. I do wonder, maybe there'd be a video package or something coming out. Be interesting to see, and like you say, we need to be reminded of it. So it'll be interesting to see just how many, exactly how they pick it up. Bear in mind, it's been what 2 years, 2.5 years since it kicked off. But elsewhere on the card, Bobby Guns against Smasher Slamovich. It's a match they campaigned for on Twitter briefly, and they got it. So I think this will be pretty much in the vein of that RB match at Inner Circle. So
You'd hope so, yeah.
yeah. Women's tag Ava Everett and Eva Klasky against Killer Kelly and Maria Della Rosa.
Yeah.
Shotgun title four-way Maggot defending against Gullius Jr., Michael Knight, and Ilya Bloom, which I mean,
I
Maggot
don't
he
I
won
don't
the
see any
four-way.
of them winning it, to be honest.
Maybe Michael Knight, but
Yes,
then
maybe
again, it's
Michael
like,
Knight.
I mean, like, I hate playing this Guess Who elimination thing, but Gullius, I think this is his first booking since Coward Weekend.
Yeah,
I think Ilya's to me, designated pin eater in this.
yeah.
Um, you've also got Lawrence Roman against Hector Invictus, finally the glue of WXW's back on a card. and Peter Tahani against Fast Time Mudo. They also did announce Jörn Simmons for this lineup, but no matches, so I don't know if he's going to be running in somewhere. Um,
You
yeah,
chuck Jörn in with any. You can chuck Jörn in with anybody.
yeah.
Chuck him in. Chuck him in with Eric Young. That'd be great.
But again, I mean, an afternoon show, so 6 matches on that card. Tidy lineup, pretty interesting main event, even without digging up the recent history. So yeah, if you're not too hungover from Saturday night, some stuff well worth getting up for Sunday afternoon. Then the second night of Tag Festival, so 6:30 door, 7:30 bell. We've got the Unified World Wrestling Title main event, so Tristan Archer defending against Bailey or Guns.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, again, we can't predict because obviously one half isn't there, but I would have to think, whether this should be like a statement win for Tristan Archer.
Yeah. I think it's the. This is it. I think it all depends on who wins. I think Guns winning over Archer would be um is more likely than Bailey winning over Archer. But then equally, I don't know. Is Bailey someone who can maybe come over a bit more often? I don't know. I think Bailey should at some point but be WXW champion because I feel like he's one of the sort of the home guys really.
He's certainly been around enough, especially for these big
Yeah,
weekenders.
and I think I think you could sell a Speedball main event at sorry at 16 carat. Whether not sure if I'd particularly enjoy Speedball being only on the big shows. I don't know how much I would enjoy that, but I
Yeah,
think there's obviously a lot of uh, this I don't have any doubts about Archer's reign really at this point. I think I was very doubtful in March, but now I'm perfectly fine with it. I think he's completely justified it. He's had, and I think a big win like this is against two overwhelmingly popular people as well. A big win like this is a good way of cementing him as the big baddie. And when we get to 16 carat or anniversary, for example, I think you can announce somebody big against him, and I think it sells it. But I mean, this weekend isn't being sold on a world title match really, so you kind of have to. You've got, I think they've got one eye on anniversary or one eye on carrot really with this, aren't they?
and I guess the other thing you've got to look at as well is, just announced this week, WXW are running a double header with Smash in Canada, November 9th
Yeah,
in Toronto, November 20th in London, not that one. Um,
the wrong London.
yeah, and see, I mean, I know
I mean, I
Speedball
suppose
did
Speedball could win it
Smash.
there. Wouldn't it take it to Canada? I suppose, yeah. I didn't even think of that, but there's lots of options for it. Um, as I said, it's difficult to predict it when you don't know who the contender is really.
I'm just looking now quickly on Cage Match. He has worked for Smash before, albeit before their COVID shutdown. But see, it's not like it'll be, oh, hey, he's a guy who happens to be the champion. There's a little bit of background, so that wouldn't no that it's an outside shout, but that would not
But I mean,
surprise
Archer is
me for one.
going to Canada as well, as is Guns. So you know,
All three bases covered. There you go.
yeah. um, yeah, it's difficult to think really.
So we're going on to the tag matches for the Sunday night. Pretty Bastards against Sanity in Block A. Calamari Drunken Kings against Sens of Ultra Nigel Blanc, also in Block A. Amboss against Rotten Flot for Block B. And Violence is Forever against Irie and Arbind. My God, those Block B matches and the world title match. Yeah, that sold me. I mean, I've already got the ticket on there, but
Yeah,
those two tag matches and the world title match, that sold me. Violence is
yeah.
Forever against Irie and Arbind. I am
I think
expecting
you're struggling.
headbutts, and I don't know if I'm going to like
You'll
it.
struggle to. I think if you like that sort of thing, you'll struggle to beat that. I think for a lot of people that weekend.
Yeah. So anyway, Sunday's normally the wrap-up night, but of course they've kicked things back a day because it's bank holiday weekend in Germany. So we roll into Monday, 11:30 in the morning doors, 12:30 afternoon bell. It's the Wheel of Wrestling Wildcard edition, and this is kind of like I don't like open auditions. We've had guys send tapes in. They've been picked and they've got the whole card booked, which is a good touch because before it was just like a roster and no, I think some pretty decent matches in this lineup. So we've got Man Like Darius against Jared Diaz and Eli Isom. I think former Ring of Honor guy there. Cheeseburger, of course, formerly Ring of Honor against Danny Miles.
The
Chris
king of
Dice.
the New Japan Rumble.
God,
That's the only reason I know Cheeseburger.
and what was it? Jushin Thunder Liger gave him the showtave, remember right, for palm strikes and made
Yeah.
a career out of that for a bit. Chris Tyson Maverick, both from Hungary, against Joe Keys and Dante Caballero. There's another couple of guys who are, I'll say, ex Ring of Honor. Like, I've seen the names for a while. Like, obviously, Joe Keys. Just check and make sure it's right, and I'm not signing law the wrong way. So both of them currently wrestle in Maryland Championship Wrestling as a tag team called Cartel. But Joe Keys used to be in Chikara as one of the cycling guys,
Okay.
which Cheeseburger, Eli Isom, Caballero, Joe Keys. Yeah, this is some of the displaced Ring of Honor guys on this lineup.
Yeah, and I
Uh,
think the thing with those is that I think all you got to do is look at what being on a WXW weekender, having great matches did for Rust Taylor. Russ Taylor kind of a bit of a he was kind of nowhere really for years, wasn't he? And then he did that weekender, and then pretty much immediately after he got signed by WWE, didn't he?
yep.
He
Now
got
he's
signed by WWE. Oh no, he got signed for the New Japan Strong thing, and then he
New
ended up in
Japan Strong,
WWE.
then WWE. Now he's back on New Japan Strong with flirts with Ring of Honor, AEW as well. So
So
yeah,
yeah, you've got to sort of if you're coming on this show, you've kind of got to have one eye on a trajectory like that, really, especially
yeah.
for the Americans.
Kevin Lloyd against Thomas Shire. So Shire's one of those guys I've been wanting to see live for a while. No, he did a UK tour earlier this year, but like this
It
isn't a
was up
knock on
north,
him.
wasn't it?
It's more of a knock on the scene we have. I saw nowhere advertising him.
No,
And I know that's kind of been the thing with a lot of people. No, is it Maverick and Gullis Jr.? They meant for the UK run. So nobody advertised those guys. It's like I don't know whether it's because we're a bit leery of flying.
well they didn't even work anywhere, did they?
Yeah. So I don't know if it's just they're overtraining, but yeah, the UK doesn't seem to be that hot for people coming over and having like an extended run. Well, Warhorse is about to have a second run, which yeah, I guess there's space for some, but yeah, at least I didn't see Thomas Schreier getting an advertised anywhere. So good to see him landing in Germany for this particular show. Kevin Lloyd, I think he did a few
He
ambitions
did
in
Ambition, yeah.
got
Sexy
Steve
Kev.
Payne and Akira. So Akira's normally a deathmatch guy. Payne, he did. So he's one of those things. He's been in direct before, like when the shotgun days. So that kind of dates it.
Yeah, years ago, wasn't it?
And I've seen him on like lower cards for shows in and around New York, but I think he did oh god, it's Evolve, like these random evolves when the dying days of Evolve where they like pick up random guys from the area to pack the cards out. Yeah, looking through now. So recently he did AW Dark back in February. Um Violence and Suffering. Yeah, so a lot of promotions you'd probably see on things like IWTV, that kind of stuff. So again, maybe this can be parlayed into something. Of course, Akira, normally deathmatch guy, like I say. Yeah, I don't think we'll be seeing glass and light tubes here, but who knows? Weird things have happened in WXW.
They might be banned in Germany. We don't know.
Well, we have the Zack Sabre Jr. Carson Beck light tube match all those years ago.
Yeah,
We've
yeah.
got LJ Cleary and Jaden Newman. So Newman won the Sin City Invitational earlier this year.
Okay.
Uh, Very highly recommended, at least from when I used to watch the Southern US Indies, something I fell out of and need to get back into. But when it comes to fairly recommended, LJ Cleary, formerly
Yeah,
of
we
Morgan
know
High.
him. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I it should be a good match, but I think it's gonna be more interesting how the crowd reacts, bearing in mind everything's gone on. Newman, pretty much an unknown, although I guess for a few of us, probably know him a little bit better. But this is probably going to be one where it'll be a case of, guys, win over the crowd because we're going to be there for you.
Yeah, I think it's indicative of the state of the Irish scene that I think if LJ Cleary had been announced 3 years, no, 4 years ago for WXW, it would probably be the biggest reaction of the weekend. Now I don't actually know anybody who's even noticed that LJ's on
Yeah,
the card. So
not naming names, there were other OTT guys announced just before COVID, teeing up to be have a big breakout run. Now it's
yeah,
like again, stuff happening. I'm not going to relitigate all that, but yeah, it just shows how things have fallen.
yeah, for sure.
And then last up, we've got Alex Ryman against O'Shea Edwards. Ryman, he's not, actually had a run in Europe already this year. Just pulled up his cage match. So he was in Project Nova in Berlin in February, Pro Wrestling Holland, and he lost to O'Shea at a. So can you remember after Count they did the not taped WXW Academy against the
The
HCW
hunger,
Dojo.
yeah, yeah,
So he was on that, I guess representing the WXW Academy. He lost to Rorschach. Guess he's had a brief run, but yeah, guess this is his main show debut. And just looking for it's his cage match. Mostly works for East Coast Pro Wrestling, seeing like the same kind of IWTV promotions like Pro Wrestling Magic, Outbreak Wrestling, XWA, not that one with Dan Reed used
not
to run.
not yeah, not our one. Yeah.
But yeah, so again, there's a name, primed to grab this chance at both hands, up against O'Shea Edwards, and there's a guy I really want to see break out. Like I've seen bits and pieces of him, but he, you know, if things go well, he could be one who steals this entire weekend.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't really know very many of these at all, and I've kind of purposefully avoided learning about them because I want to be surprised. Um, but you've kind of bigged up O'Shea quite a lot over the last couple of weeks, so I'm quite excited to see what I'm missing out really.
Hopefully, I
Um,
haven't cursed him, but yeah, X Ring of One, he's done a lot of like pretty big lad. He's done. Just looking through, he went through the finals of New South's Heart of the Sun 16 Host tournament last year.
yeah,
Lost to Alex Kane in action again March last year. So a few, been up against a few names we've seen through and around WXW. So yeah, hopefully, gets a chance, grabs both hands, and actually managed to parlay this into something, I guess.
yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed.
And then, of course, got the finals of World Tag Team Festival. So the final block matches we have. Block A is for Pretty Bastards against the Calamari Drunken Kings. Sanity against Volta and Idle Blanc. Block B is Irie and Arby against Rotten Flot. And Violence is Forever against Amboss. Two block winners, of course, go through the finals. And traditionally, this has been for the tag titles. So if Rotten Flot don't make it through, then new tag team champions at the end of the weekend.
Yeah,
And
you may find out on we may know by Sunday that the titles are being changed.
yes, because terms gone by, we have had the reigning champions out for the final night, which spiced it all up a bit. But it's going to be very curious to see if they add anything more because 5 match card, all tag matches.
Well,
It's a
there's
big,
always something.
yeah, and
There's
of
always
course
something.
storylines from that build up, but it's yeah, I don't know what's going to come out of the Sunday wheel of the Sunday wheel of wrestling taping, or stuff falls out from other matches we may have early in the
Yeah,
weekend.
you need Hector on the card.
Hector
To-
scrambles.
yeah, just chuck Hector on every match, every card. Not in every match, but chuck him on every
Well, if
card.
he's paid for everyone, he's not going to argue.
Yeah, exactly. Just give him a couple of matches.
And again, I don't know, from those who've booked on the early shows, how many of them will still be around. No, I'm guessing the Femme Fatale winner may get their match on night 3, depending on who wins, of course. Um, I would guess if it was, Eva or Kelly, it's not going to be on the Wheel of Wrestling show on the Sunday since they've already booked in
No.
a tag match there. But yeah, brings plenty to sink your teeth into, and it's Friday through Monday, so longer weekend than usual, I guess, for those flying in. But yeah, be interesting to get back to Germany, where the only masks you need to wear on planes and trains and buses.
Yeah, well, I think you need to wear them out and about, but yeah, I think it's very exciting. It seems well, I mean, I'm kind of having a. It seems a long way away because I'm going to Vienna beforehand because I'm watching WXW there. So
You'll be
it's
overdosing on them.
sorry.
You'll be overdosing on them by the end of by the time you get to the end of the weekend.
Yeah, yeah, I should try and find something midweek or something, but I don't think they're doing that. Yeah, it's going to be it's going to be a great weekend. As I say, it's always my favourite. I've always preferred Tag Fest to Carrot. I just always have. Uh, I think it's because the tournament isn't as much of a focus as Carrot is. Um, and the festival weekenders, they always have, a shock. There's always a surprise. There's always something interesting going on, and kind of it always feels like instead of being a season finale, it's kind of like this is the mid season finale, the big bit, the big thing which makes you excited for the winter. And
My blood
it,
just ran cold. What if
what's that?
What if Sense of Volto and Nigel Blanc come out in Batman and Robin costumes?
Well, you know what's coming, don't you? Um, yeah, we don't want that to
Don't
happen.
springboard, for the love of God! Don't springboard.
God, yeah, they could do that, couldn't they?
They were teasing it early this year. Then a lot of wrestling happened, and it's kind of been, yeah.
Well, with Blockade could potentially have both domestic teams break up. Let's face it, that's a
Yeah,
quite
because the
likely
Bastards
situation.
thing, obviously we've got the unresolved. No, I'm a shotgun champion. No, I'm the shotgun champion stuff, which they've purposely not addressed that much.
No, and it confuses a lot of people. I say there's people who I know who've kind of reached out to me and says, "So what's actually going on?"
Well, the
and
shinier shotgun belt's not the real one. You can buy those through SL Wrestling, but that's not the
yeah,
real championship
I've probably touched that very belt because I bet it's the one that they had on the
on
stand.
merch tables.
Yeah, so I've probably touched that very one. Um, yeah, it's. I think I don't know the French doors. I don't know unless they're just a thing that lasts forever. But it's just there's a lot to sort of digest. I think is what we sort
I
of say.
think
There's a
the
lot.
weird thing is they were pushing for a tag title run at Broken Rules, and then of course since had the timeout of his broken wrist.
Yeah, and
So
he got his stuff
you
stolen as well, didn't he?
yes, so do you go back to that and do the tag title run, or do you just skip that bit out? Because I mean, they're done the show they did with APC. Someone looks very much like him, as another character. That's all I'm going to say. But do you fully go down that road, or do you have, it's obviously not Sin Cara versus Sin Cara, but you have the good masked guy and the bad masked guy. Try saying that 10 times fast. Do you go down that route, or do are they the success story of the tournament? I mean, the last few years of Tag Festival, we've not exactly been having that much rice pudding.
Yeah, because well, the last one was won by the Bastards, which was that was obviously unexpected, but it was a hill team, kind of not very fancied. And then the one before that was JFK, again not really that fancy prior to the tournament. I think a lot of people were thinking it was Tim and Walter winning that one.
Yep.
Um,
They won 2017, which was the rice pudding, but not
yeah,
that.
so there's always a bit of a yeah, there's always a shock winner with this one, and but I honestly couldn't call it. I think there's arguments I think for a lot of the teams. Well, I don't think any of the. I don't think. Well, I say I don't think any of the imports, except for possibly one, can do it. I would love it if Arbe and they won it. That would be brilliant. Because I think they're incredibly popular. Um, I think you could possibly make an argument for Sanity, but I don't know how long Young is sticking around.
Now, Sweden has been having quite a few European
For,
tours
for,
with Wrestle Carnival, or at least booked by Wrestle Carnival. Yeah,
yeah, so I think yeah, I in my head I'm thinking the final is Sanity versus Amboss in my head, um, with probably Amboss going over. However, it's and then they do sort of freebirding on the titles. That's the only thing I can sort of think that
that's
can
not a bad
actually happen.
shout. Because I think for two of us, we've plotted in our head. It kind of builds up to Back to the Roots and another Kayfic Schlacht, which is a
Yeah,
natural way round. Only
yeah.
thing is,
So you end up with Sanity, where you end up well. Yeah, I think that the K-Fig Slack is what you're aiming for, really. Um, do you bring back a Tim to join San? Do you do the K-Fig Slack with Amboss against Sanity with Damo and Tim? Do you do that? That's me fantasy booking that really. That would be
it's not a
lovely
bad
if that could
shout. I
happen.
mean, we've saying we need like a double XW home forces, and Tim Thatch would do well in either of those lineups. I think.
Who was that fourth member of Sanity? The
Oh God, Sawyer Fulton, Madman
Yeah. So do
Fulton
you, do
now
you, do
in
you
Impact.
bring Sawyer in as the fourth guy?
I mean,
Behave.
Genuinely, I've not seen his name around for a while. Like I know he was with Impact. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think
he's
that's probably unlikely.
yeah. I'm looking now. He's not done Impact since March, according to this. So, guess he's no longer with Impact, Mike.
Yeah, there we
He's
go
been
then.
doing like Pro Wrestling Revolver,
He
Destiny
was
World
one of the
Wrestling
he was one of the
Champions.
Ohio lads, wasn't he?
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
think maybe if it is, it's gonna be like a real outside pick. But yeah, I think if we are building up to not to Kafik Schlacht, to WXW's home force or whoever's going to be the big guys up against Amboss, they need to be established pretty quick. And I don't know whether that is, Senza and Idol. We've tried that before. Whether it's
Well, I think
we
your
have
home your
the
home
Master
your
go
home
down
force
for.
has to be. You have to look at Guns, Tisha, and probably somebody like Tahani or Lavaniel, don't you? I think that's what you look as your home core. But equally, that's there's a lot of, as I said, there's a lot of football to be played between then and now. So it's,
We
let's,
lot
I think,
plans for Formula H and absolutely shattered between now and then as well. So
yeah,
we'll
exactly.
probably have
So
something of an idea coming out of Tiger Festival, and obviously, I think after that, what is it? We've got obviously the Austria show this coming Friday. Just looking up after then, you've
yeah,
got a bunch of the Wheel of Wrestling Lives, Drive of Champions in Frankfurt on the 12th of November, uh, the 22nd anniversary, December 17th in Oberhausen, and Dead End in Hamburg. And at the moment, there's no Käfig Schlacht or Back to Roots list on here.
not
So
yet though.
maybe our calendars have all been wrong and we've just fancy booked ourselves into a shoe brother.
Yeah, maybe it wouldn't be the first time.
But anyway, that's it for the World Tag Team Festival. So again, that's next week. If you come to Oberhausen, bump into say hi. We don't bite unless you ask us to. But I guess the podcast might probably doing like a post show wrap up. After both back from Germany and everything's hit
Yeah,
on demand. But depending on how things go over there, maybe try and record some stuff, get some bite-sized bits and pieces up, especially if
yeah,
anything major happens.
yeah, exactly. And I think yeah, we'll definitely do the post show wrap up. You might get some bonus stuff from us. We'll kind of play it by ear, see what happens.
If the last few, well, obviously not covered before, we had like storms and
Yes.
really bad weather. If we're going to get absolutely blown away or drowned out, forget it. But we'll see how it goes. But Anything to plug, Mike, before you head over to Austria later this week?
Not really. I've got obviously the Groundhoppers guide, but there's nothing new. I think for a while. We did just do one a couple of weeks back. So if you've not listened to that, so that's Groundhoppers guide on YouTube. Type in Groundhoppers guide on and Eddie, and you'll find us. But apart from that, no, not really. Just make sure if you're following me on anything, so follow me at Mike Kilby on pretty much everything, and you can, you can see what I'm up to because I'll probably be posting lots of stuff from the long road to Oberhausen because it's I'm not coming home from Vienna. The
Well, if
long road
you
to
are, something's
Oberhausen.
gone badly wrong for your flights, mate.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Ian Wrestling, Instagram at BackBodyDrop. Been a bit quiet in terms of reviews lately. Things will pick up after Oberhausen, I bet. But yeah, head over backbodydrop.com, all the socials there. And if we don't see you in Oberhausen, we shall see you on the podcast in a few weeks' time. Auf Wiedersehen.
Tschüss.